Today is January 6th, and Domingo Germán has been suspended. The Yankees have hired a completely new training staff. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake. Recaps galore and weekly awards. Stat lines, steaming hot takes. Get your Yankees news with these two fine dudes. It's time for Talking Yanks. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy and Jake.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Talkin' Yanks. My name's JOMBOY. I'm coming to you from Harlem, New York. And I've got my co-host Jake coming to you from Denver, Colorado. And we're two guys who like talking about the Yankees. And so we're going to do it for a little bit. Thank you very much for joining us. And special shout out to our most recent Patreon, Sarah Lucarelli. Thank you very much. She's our most recent patron. If you want to support everything we do here on Talkin' Yanks, you can go to patreon.com/TalkinYanks. Jake, it is a nice Monday night. You and I are pretty excited this morning, back into the swing of things. Holidays are officially behind us. Feels like let's start doing podcasts, let's start grinding. Spring training is yet to come, though, and the Yankees are yet to make another move. How are you holding up?
So I hate that you might know the actual human answer to this, but this is definitely, I think, the first full week back after New Year's is when Billy Joel wrote Back in the New York Groove, because that's what we're in right now. I mean, we're back.
That's not a Billy Joel song.
Nailed it.
It's by Kiss.
1 for 1.
It's a Kiss song. And I don't know
Did Billy Joel ever sing it?
I don't know. Like New York State of Mind, he wrote that, but that was after he moved home from L.A. He wrote Goodbye Hollywood.
Well, I heard Billy Joel sing it once, and I think he wrote the lyrics for Kiss, and it was the first week of the new year.
Okay. Well, the album was released. It didn't say why this song was written. But maybe you're right, but you probably totally wrong because you thought it was a Billy Joel song.
Well, so I'm all over that, but I'm doing well, man. I mean, it's tough. We did this on Talking Baseball, but I guess we could say it here because not everyone doubles up. But man, those 4 weeks from winter meetings till now was a weird mix of a lot going on between family stuff, holidays, a bit of work, and just getting life in order, and a little bit of fun along the way.
Oh.
And now we're back, man. I'm stoked. It's I'm also getting the itch. 2020 is a big number on the board. Spring training's around the corner. And now, I'm starting to get myself hyped for all the cool stuff we're going to do this year between Yankee stuff and Jomboy stuff. That it's, I don't know. I'm not a goal setter because I don't like reaching and falling for the stars. But, we're going to do some awesome stuff this year. And it's okay, let's win the World Series with Garrett Cole.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It feels like, okay, holidays are over, let's get going, but we still have this dead period of no baseball before spring training starts, and I don't think the Yankees are going to make any more moves. So I think, we just have to sit still and just clamor about the Cole signing for some more. Go listen to the old episode.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get something. It's just a matter if it's a 7 on the 7 out of 10 on the scale or if it's a 3 out of 10 on the scale. I mean, last year, and again, free agency was very different last year, but I think we signed Britton and Ottavino pretty late in the game.
Yeah, but everyone got signed. They might get another reliever. They might get, like I've been saying, maybe a middle infielder if they're scouring the minor leagues for that unproven blocked bat. But I'm content if they don't do anything else. Yeah,
and I mean, we are going to talk about it a little later with some of the Germán stuff, but there have been the Hap rumors all offseason, mostly created by Yankee fans, I think, but you could understand why it makes sense, especially now that the starting pitching free agency market has really cleared out. If that is a real thing, we've hit the time period where something would happen. So I don't know. I doubt I doubt we're going to hit a 7 out of 10 on that scale, like mentioned. If we do, we'll find a way to jazz it up, and we'll be like, can you believe that we invited... I'm trying to think of we invited Jason Kipnis to spring training. Can you believe it? Like, we'll find a way to get hyped over it. But, yeah, man, let's go. Let's get to the middle of February. Let's report to camp.
Yeah. Brett Gardner hasn't even been announced yet, so they do have to make a 40-man move for him. So maybe there is like a weird trade looming. That's kind of something. That's what we can be excited for. How are they going to? How are they going to clear space for Brett Gardner? That's the excitement level we're at here in January Yankees baseball. But it is funny that, and this isn't like an original thought, but no one in anywhere can claim it as an original thought because it's just a conglomerate thought. Yankees fans got everything they wanted this winter. New catching coach, new pitching coach, new training staff, Garrett Cole. So I bet there's some people on Twitter that I have muted that are complaining, but I don't know what they were complaining about this year. It's like the fans run the franchise. And Germán gets suspended, and that's kind of the blemish on this offseason, and not that he got suspended, that Domingo Germán turned out to be kind of a bad guy. And it's a touchy topic, and we don't really like doing touchy topics, but obviously we have to talk about it. And I'm just going to kind of give my spiel, Jake, which I don't even... You
give your spiel, I'll give my spiel, but I want to talk about the baseball side of it, because there is some stuff that needs to be talked about that, but we do need to get over this hurdle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There are some like Yankee baseball repercussions or aftermath, but I will say this. I think the Yankees and MLB handled the situation well. I'm glad that the public doesn't know the gritty details of what happened, but it also leaves some looming doubt of like, what happened? Was it absolutely horrendous? Was it something that half of us would be like, oh, I thought it was much worse? Or people would be like, oh shit, he's a terrible guy. We have no idea. So to speak on it as if it's one or if it's the other is just kind of a fool's errand. All we know is that the league and the Yankees took him out of the lineup and the team immediately. They did one of the more thorough investigations. They kept it all in-house, and they doled out, I think, the harshest penalty for a domestic abuse situation we've seen yet. So there are some tea leaves that, and he's not fighting it. So it must have been pretty bad. And I think it's good that they handled it that way. I think everyone handled it well. Germán, it's all, do you believe in second chances? Is he going to take this and become a better person? I hope so. Is he not? I hope not. And then the other interesting thing is like bad guy. I don't really like, don't really like thinking about Domingo Germán if he abused his wife or girlfriend,
partner,
or mother,
spouse.
Yeah. But I think this is the real interesting thing, and this isn't even a take. People will still root for the results if he comes back. And that's the hardest thing for me to even wrap my head around, like if it's okay. Because if he does come back and he does his time and he's on the mound and he's wearing pinstripes and he strikes out a guy that's wearing an opposing uniform, I'll like that. Because I like when Yankees players do better than the team they're facing. But it feels dirty liking that. And a lot of people aren't going to be able to like that. And some people will do it easily because they root for the laundry, not the person. And I think that's where, with sports, more than, if this happens in regular life, it gets really conflicting. And like, I'm conflicted over it. Because if he comes back and he plays, I want him to do well. My dream scenario is that by the time he's not suspended, Happ or Gumby are fucking locked up that fifth role and there's no injuries and his whole season's kind of a bust, and then he serves double time, and then we'll see you in 2021. The Yankees would be doing well if that's the case. It means Gumby or Haps would being a rock star.
Yeah, and at the same time, if there's a spot in the rotation and he's eligible to come back, I mean, in theory, as Yankee fans, we are going to be rooting for that, and it's the mind fuck of the whole situation, and mine's very similar to what you touched upon. My thing is a lot of people don't believe that professional sports people deserve second chances on something like this. And if that's your stance, it's not necessarily wrong. Like, that's what you think, and that's fair. MLB and the Yankees did their thing on this. They handed out the punishment, and after it, they're going to say that he is allowed to play. And there's a number of examples of this in the major leagues. Roberto Ozuna on Houston. Aroldis Chapman, he had his own situation and a number of other cases. So I don't know if you're one of the people that fights the war on Twitter every day, and that's how you spend your 3 nights when you get home, just fighting other fan bases. Be ready for it. When it happens, it comes back, and you better have your stance on it. Because, like you said, it tears you apart. Because if Domingo Germán is on the field and pitching well for us, he's technically served his punishment, and you should kind of be all right with that if you're into second chances or whatever. I know I am. We've all been young and made mistakes at a certain point. Maybe he comes back and he does a lot of charity work and he donates some money and he does some good guy stuff from here on out. And, it sucks that he has to learn a lesson that way, but everyone takes their different path. Getting a little heavy, Jake, but I don't know. Have your stance on it, and you're right. It does suck that a guy that was having a really special breakout season last year, there's always like this little asterisk in your head of him as a person, which sucks. You don't want to look at your athletes like that. Let's talk about the baseball, Jim, because this is kind of a wild thing. There's 63 games left on the suspension?
Yes. Which puts it to June?
I believe so. I think early June.
So injuries or bad performance, because we're going to see how this plays out. Like right now, Happ's the 5th starter and Gumby's in waiting. And one of them will be, because it's not like Domingo Germán comes back in June and then he's pitching in the major leagues.
Right.
He has to go.
I don't know. He can't pitch in spring training. I don't know if he can pitch in the minors before the suspension is up. I don't think so.
I would think not. I think he's going to have to go through, just wait it out and do like conditioning on the side on his own.
Right.
But then he's still going to have to go to a couple games in the minor leagues. So you would think that if there's an injury, which most likely there will be, and that's not like being pessimistic, it's kind of one injury in the rotation that's realistic, could be small. Gumby will get a chance. And I love Gumby, and I like Happ, and I know that people really are down on Happ. I don't know how people feel about Gumby anymore. There's a chance that like Germán is ready to go, and the Yankees kind of don't have a spot for him. But I think they would put him in the roster as the bulk guy or the long man or something like that. I don't know. What do you think?
It really does get tricky. And again, like we've talked about with the depth last year, like we've talked about with DJ LeMahieu last year, how many hours did we spend talking about where's DJ LeMahieu going to find at bats? And he became the MVP of the team last year. There is a good likelihood that by the time Domingo Germán is ready to pitch, whether that's mid to late June, maybe all-star break, if they do like a full spring training routine with him, maybe it's June and we're hammering the table that we need him from a baseball aspect. I'm really interested to see how they handle it. It's, is there a world where Brian Cashman is worried about injuries and things like that they just have Domingo ready as a relief weapon for the season? I don't think so, because it's easier to go from starting pitcher to reliever than reliever to starting pitcher if they need that. It's going to be really interesting. I think they're going to treat it as almost a July 1st. They're adding a piece to the team, kind of like they did with Didi last year, and wherever they need Domingo, they'll slide him in. But yeah, man, it's tricky, I think, and it's almost like you have to try to sit in Cash God's seat and think of it.
Don't even think about doing that.
Right? Scary. Similar physiques, whatever, but plus 30 pounds of fat on me. I don't know. I think you've already had to make a conscious decision that you have to get over the suspension and what's it about, and you have to say this guy is an asset for us who's got crazy strikeout rates, and he had a really crazy year last year that yeah, if he comes back in July 1st and he can be the 5-man in your rotation, I mean, that's insane. So I'm interested to see. You're right. The Gumby and Hap part of this are pretty wild, along with the rest of our rotation. So it's I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have the conversation now. We're gonna snap our fingers. It's gonna be June 3rd, and we're gonna be like, "What the hell are we gonna?" We're either gonna say, "What the hell are we gonna do with Germán?" or we're gonna say like, "Hey, get ready, man. We need you."
Yeah. Well, I'm still rooting for that. Hap, Gumby, and the rest of the staff are so good, which means they're doing so well for the Yankees, which means we're not getting hurt in the wins and loss column.
Sessa.
And then that means Germán gets doubly punished. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to the Yankees hiring. They retooled their pitching staff, Jake. They really only fired one guy, the strength and conditioning guy, Matt Krause, who had 2 years left on his contract. Fired him. He gets 30 injuries. Will do that. We had heard rumblings. Who did we hear that from last year? That they like the Yankees. The Yankees were really behind in their like some player or someone that had been around was like, yeah, they're really behind. Fuck, I shouldn't have said it because I don't remember correctly who or what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I had heard rumblings that like the Yankees like they didn't really do much of like the yoga and the new wave stuff and all that good shit. So he's out. He's the only one that gets fired. Everyone else is kind of still hanging around. Besides someone we'll get to later. They bring in what's his name, Eric Cressey.
Cressey? Yeah, I'm not sure how to say it.
Who people talk really highly of. He started his own company and he does a podcast. And I think that made me laugh out loud because we learned at winter meetings that Tanner Smith, the new catching coach, was on a podcast, and Cashman listens to a lot of podcasts. What up, Cash? I know you listen to us every now and then because he drives to work every day and he listens to baseball podcasts. And he heard Tanner Smith on a podcast, and that was the first time he was like, who's this guy? Because they weren't looking for a new catching coach, but they were just Cash heard him and was blown away on the podcast. And then it cracked me up when I found out this Cressey guy's got a podcast. And I was like, do you think that's just like, if you want to get hired by the Yankees, go fucking make a podcast?
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So yeah, I obviously don't know the details, the finer details of Eric Cressey's athletic training, but we have a couple buddies that work in that field, and they like bow to him as a god. Our guy Sheedy, who mixes it up on Yankees Twitter sometimes, he was like, this is a huge hire for you guys. We'll see. I mean, either way, the injuries have to come down, only because we set the record last year for the most. So, but yeah, I'm interested to see. I mean, you know, does it tie into player performance and how everybody's feeling? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I obviously don't know the full impact. It'd be a cool part of the DVD if it's like, yeah, this Cressey dude, all of us felt great, never felt better, and we won it all.
He's the best, and we love him. Close your eyes. Have you seen pictures of Eric Cressey before?
I've seen that one floating around of him like guiding the guy working out.
Oh. He looks like how I want him to look.
Okay, there you go.
Bald.
Borderline offensive.
Bald, that's all.
Okay.
You can't be a strength and conditioning coach and have a full head of hair. It's almost illegal.
Yeah.
You know who has one?
That's true.
The Astros. They have that pretty boy who looks like a Russian like jerk off.
Yeah, I almost respect that. I almost respect that because he does look so much of like a Russian spy, which I guess technically a Houston spy. Yeah, if you're a strength and conditioning coach, you either have to be bald or have silly facial hair or look like a villain.
Yeah. No, he looks like a very nice guy, but he's bald.
Right, but he's bald.
Bald.
Yeah.
He looks like Brett Gardner's older brother.
Got to check one of the 3 boxes. Oh, they're going to be best friends.
So, like, this dude's not going to be with the team all the time, I don't think, because he's keeping his job at high performance training and all that, and he's keeping his old clients, which include like Scherzer and Kluber and all these guys. But what he's doing is he's building a staff and implementing his philosophies and strategies and all that onto the staff and the team. So it's an interesting route. They're like, dude, we want you so bad. We just want your brain. We don't need your in the capacity of the team 100%, but just like, guide us.
Just give us the info, bro.
Yeah. Give us your fucking PDFs and we'll be good. Like, okay, cool. Yeah. You're in charge. So he's also going to make the hire. So there might be some changes. There may be some new people brought in. That Krause dude is out. And this is where we get into a really bad situation, Jake. But the strength and conditioning coach, Krause, he's not what I want my strength and conditioning coach to look like. Am I allowed to say that?
Good. He's gone.
Is just too much hair.
Right.
But he's gone. Yeah. I mean,
have you seen the Oregon football team strength and conditioning coach?
Maybe.
I think you'd hate him on sight, but then you'd come to respect what he's doing. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. Oregon strength and conditioning coach. Yes. Hate him on sight. That's a clear hate on sight.
Right.
And then, yeah, no.
But it works because he's Oregon.
Yeah.
He's got this long hipster mustache. He's roped up, and he's your rah-rah guy.
Does work because
I think it works.
I'd cut that off in his sleep if I was a player.
Ooh, you'd have a bad next morning.
Remember when I threatened to cut off Rat Tail in sophomore year of bio class?
Yeah, not nice.
No, threatened to kill me.
Yeah, I'm on his side, for the record.
Oh, I am too. I wasn't gonna cut his rat tail off, but
you kind of can't leave sides in that situation. I'm sorry.
I'm not on my side.
Like that's OJ saying, "I wish I didn't kill her."
No. I put his rat tail.
You're OJ Simpson.
I sat behind him. I put his rat tail in between the blades of my scissors, and the fright of
not nice.
The fright of fucking God went through his eyes, and he looked at me and he said, "If you ever touch my rat tail again, I will fucking kill you." And I was like, "Oh, I'm on your side, buddy. That'd kill me too."
Yeah,
been growing that thing since birth. So anyway, I saw him at a wedding.
I've got the bigger question.
I saw him at a wedding expo like 10 years later. I asked him, "Do you remember when I almost cut off your rat tail?" He said, "Yeah."
Did you guys laugh over it?
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, sorry about that." He was like, "Yeah, I would have killed you."
I like Danny. He was the reason I was the section leader of the low brass section in the 7th grade. We could talk about that in the next hour of Talkin' Yanks. I've got the biggest question for you, and I haven't looked this up, and I don't know if we know. Is Dono, is he going to be on the bench?
That's what we don't know yet.
Okay.
So Donahue is basically being the other guy who is, I don't know enough about the other guy that's replacing him. I know that he's kind of bland, and I don't like him yet because Gino was an old, fun man that was adored. And then Dono's one of the cuter mans to wear pinstripes since Don Zimmer.
We had a system.
Old, cute
you
men.
You win our hearts over 15 years, and then you get the job, and the other guy retires. That's how this works. So
the new guy, what's his name? I'm going to try and look it up. He is not, in my heart the same way. Right. It's Michael Shook. Michael Shook has me shook because he's not an old man. I like my trainers, old men. Dude, do you think they're moving on from Dono because of anything due to the injuries? Because I think it's a totally separate thing. He's been around for like 50 years. They got a young guy. I mean, for all we know, Dono could be like, yeah, phase me out. I'm ready.
Like you said, we had our Yankee system. Like you come in, you're kind of old. You get old, the guy retires, you're the guy, and then you hit the forward button on that. I think what we kind of have with the trainers is a situation where, just like managers and analytics, like the analytics and the advancements in medical stuff has passed what Dono's going to learn at this point in his career. Dono's Larry Rothschild. Dono is Larry Rothschild. I think that's almost a perfect comparison, except one's a curmudgeon and one's a beautiful, friendly man. But yeah, I think the part that, and again, this very much is going to depend if he's allowed to be on the bench this year or not. Because if he's on the bench, I'm fine with his new title. Because this is everything we said last year. That Dono's around if you get hurt mid-game, rest, elevate, all that stuff. Like, yeah, keep Dono around for that and just his good vibes. But if Dono's just like kind of hanging around the team as this weird old guy that used to fix dudes, I don't love that.
Well, what if he's still taping up balls that need to be taped like and marked like special balls? What if he's still...
If he's on the dugout bench, I'm elated.
Okay. His title is really good. Emeritus?
Emeritus.
I don't know how you pronounce it, which means he is head trainer emeritus, which means in name only.
Yeah, Joe's, Keith, and Chris McFly had a lot of fun with that on the Pinstripe Strong podcast.
Go listen to the Pinstripe Strong podcast. It came out yesterday. They were recreating the firing. I'm going to tell Keith's joke because I fucking loved it so much. They're like replacing him to Emeritus, and they tell Dono. Keith McPherson made the joke that Dono in the parking lot was like, "Hey Siri, what's Emeritus mean?"
Yeah, like definitely went through the whole thing and is like, "What's going on?"
So that's cool. Bye, Dono. We talked with Dono at winter meetings for 2 seconds, and I regretted not getting a picture with him. And his voice was different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and can we, because it literally was a 45-second exchange, can we talk about that at all?
Sure. We just said, "Hey, Dono, how you doing?" Well, first, actually, I think we were doing a podcast live with Kuznick, and Dono walked by, and I just said, "Dono!" He stopped and started walking towards us, and then realized he didn't know who we were, and I haven't met him, and I shouldn't have yelled his name as if we were old friends.
We both waved like he was someone that we see every Thursday and Friday.
Because I think of him as my old grandpa friend.
Yeah.
And then he like started walking over, and then kind of was like, "What? Hey," and then we just waved and walked away.
So then we see him later in the lobby, and we were kind of bummed out we didn't get to corner him before. So we see him in the lobby, and we ditched something to go see him.
We were trying to spy on Jeff Passan.
We're like, "Hey, Donald, how you doing? Nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah." And he was like, I think we froze up and we're like, "So do you like winter meetings?" We're like, "Oh, we blew it." And he's like, "Honestly, I'm about to get out of here. I'm taking the red eye out." He's like, "I just met with all the bigwigs upstairs. I'm happy to get out of here."
I told him his Instagram was great. And he said, "Yeah, it was that moth got stuck in the ump's ear. I got like 4,000 followers." And I said, "Yeah, that was my video. Didi ripped it. I ripped it from Yes Network. Didi ripped it from me. Posted it on his. Didn't watermark it. Felt like an idiot.
Still do.
Yeah. Born this way. Okay. I just need the new strength or training guy, whatever. What's the head trainer, athletic trainer? Matt Shook. Google it. You can barely find pictures of him on the internet. I need you to up what you do.
Oh, wow.
I need, you know what, Lindsay Adler? Can you write a bio on Matt Shook and tell me some quirky shit about him? Because I need to like him.
We need the weirdest thing you got on Matt Shook.
Yeah. We'll have him on the show.
Is it Shook? Like hook with an S at the beginning?
No, it's SCHUK. Shuck.
So it was never Matt Shook.
Well, it depends how you pronounce Shuck.
What a plot twist.
Oh, I'm getting a call. I declined it.
Okay.
I declined it.
Hope it's not from Matt Shook.
All right. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. As always, go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.